welcome to Steve McDonald's Arts Crafts. Now today what I'm going to see is if I can make some really thin resin ribbons. Now I've cut this really thin acetate and it's just from an overhead projector sheet. Now I'm not sure whether the resin will stay on there or whether it will make a ribbon or not. I've done this with larger, wider ribbons, but I want to make quite a few smaller, thinner ones because I want to wrap them up and put them into some jewellery. So let's see if I make these ribbons or let's see if I just make a mess. I've got all my colours mixed up now and I've loaded my pipettes. And really, they should only take one load of pipette because these are going to be using very little resin. And I'm gently going over here. It doesn't help with my tremor because doing a straight line is difficult, but there we go, I'm trying my best. So I'm gently going over, and as I'm pulling across, I'm slightly squeezing this. I don't want to overload it, but I also want to make sure that each one of the ribbons is fully covered. You will see that there is a little bit of overpour, but you'll also see how I deal with that as well coming up in a little while. So making sure that I'm not overfilling these, because once you start to overfill them and then you get too much of the tension broken, it starts to flow off and you don't get the ribbon. I'm not going to show you how I do all of these, but I thought I'd show you how I do a couple of them to make it a little bit more interesting. So there we go, finishing that one off now. And these are all the ones that are finished. As you can see, there is a little bit of overpour, but I will deal with that. And I'll leave these to cure for about 12 hours before I do the next stage, because I still want them flexible. The ribbons are all cured up now, and they are still a little bit soft, which is what I need. And I did come out last night, just before I went to bed, where some of them had overpoured, and I just trimmed them up with a pair of scissors once they'd got to that nice solid state to give them more straighter lines. What we need to do now is to detach the acetate from the ribbon, and that is normally fairly easy. All you need to do is get something under that. Can you see that's come up now? And then just pull it apart. And that should just pull off there. Keep that because you can use it again. And now you've got your ribbon. And then before we do anything else with this, we need to set these into the shapes that we want with a piece of sticky tape so it can go completely solid in the next 12 hours. And then we can use them in jewellery. Well, I've taken all the backing off these. It was really easy. It didn't take many seconds at all. And now I can start thinking about the shapes that I want them in for my resin. This one, obviously, I flicked a bit of mica powder on the thing, but I didn't mind about that at all. Now, you can either go with the flat side on the outside or the curved side on the outside. And the first one I'm going to do is this heart, because I really quite like this little heart and it makes a lovely little key ring. And I'm going now with the flat side on this, and all I'm doing is going around it like that. So that is in there. And now, because of the style of this mold, this will actually stay in there anyway. So I don't need to do anything else with that other than cut it off there and push it into the tip. And then what I'll do is I'll let that harden up for another 24 hours in that shape. I've still got a bit of red to use somewhere else. The other mold that I'm going to be using is my favourite pendant mold. And I want to have a bit of white and black with this. I do like my monochrome colours. All I'm going to do with this one is twist it on itself like that. Then put a little bit of black there. And because these are still soft, they're not fully hardened off yet, I can then twist those round like that and hold them together. And I've got the flat side on the outside this time. And then to hold all that into place temporarily until that's gone fully hard, I'm putting a bit of tape on it. And that'll hold that in there until it's cured into that position. And because we've done them nice and thin, they're going to fit well into those molds. So that's that one. And now this one, I'm doing the same way, but I'm starting off first with the black. Then I'm going to pop the white in and finish that off, keeping them all as level as possible. And that one's like that. And now I'm going to do the same thing again and put a bit of tape on there and leave that there. So I know which one it goes into, and leave those to cure up again for another 24 hours. So this one I'm going to do a little bit different. I want this to be more zigzaggy and angular. So what I've got here is the lid of an ice cream container. To make sure I get this at the right shape and length, although it doesn't matter because I can always trim it afterwards, like I'm going to trim this now. So all I'm getting is a piece of sellotape like that, laying that onto there. And then what I'm going to do is take this bit and then use the sticky on that sellotape. It's double-sided tape would have been so much easier because it wouldn't keep moving. And then making my shape that I want it to be in. And that's stuck to that nicely. Trim that off where I want it to finish. Take those bits out because I can use, well, I'm not going to use that little bit, I don't think, but there, we never know. And then leave that to cure up with that next to it because I know then that's going into there. And then if I wanted to do another colour in there as well, then I can do that by using exactly the same technique and leaving that to cure inside it. It makes your jewellery a little bit different to everything else that's out there. It's always about thinking what's different and what you can do that's different as well to try and get your jewellery to stand out from other people's. I would roll up one of these bits that are left into quite a tight little roll. Put a bit of tape on the end of that so it doesn't go anywhere. Because once that's fully cured, then that will go nice and hard. And that little circle thing can sit into that one. There, like that. And then if I do the same, I can have one sitting in here. You can also do earrings with them. Nice simple ones, or you can do quite complex ones. It's however you want to do them. And this one I've done with the curved size going on the outside. Because again, that's in that earring mold, that isn't going to go anywhere. Just make sure it's up against everything and it's fully inside, and it is. And I can do the same thing on this one. And my last one is going to be this one here, and all I'm doing in this one is making another larger circle to go into the middle of this pendant. These have all been curing up now for a full 24 hours, and they should absolutely be set in space. They should absolutely be set in place. All I need to do now is take them off the sellotape. It shouldn't leave any sticky residue, and if it does, then all you need to do is go over it with a little bit of a baby wipe, being careful because you don't want to break it. See, look, that one is now not going to go anywhere. That's well stuck in there. I've got my J. Diction resin mixed up, and I'm pouring this in slowly, and I know I shouldn't have done it like this because I can never pour neatly. I should have used a pipette right from the beginning. So here we go. This is me using a pipette, and I get a much better, cleaner fill than this. Now, doing these black and white ones, what I've done is put a little bit of resin in the bottom. Make sure I'm getting rid of all the bubbles that are on there. Quick thank you to all my members. Thank you so much. The membership has grown lovely, and we're having a really good time. We've got a competition running at the moment with the members with some great prizes. And now once I've got those in there, I'm then filling this up. I will move the little ribbons inside around a little bit just to dislodge any bubbles, and then I'll pop the bubbles on the top again with a lighter. And a similar thing for the hearts with the ribbons in, but I won't actually fill this right to the very top to start with, because what I need to do is get in there with a pair of tweezers and just knock off any of the bubbles that are caught on the edge of the mould for this and on that ribbon. And then I will top it up and pop all the bubbles with this. But I feel that this is a little bit plain. So what I'm going to do, as you can see, is I've got some star here glitter, and I'm popping that in and leaving those layered around it just randomly, and I think they've come out really well. A huge thank you to everyone that got me a coffee last month. I couldn't keep this channel going without the people who are members and the people that give me the coffees. Really does appreciate it, and also everything I get from coffees goes straight back into the channel. So now I'm using a little bit of mica powder as a base. Now I use a different technique for this, which you'll see as well coming up. Make sure that if you want to do this technique, you don't cover the bottom too thickly. You want it quite a thin layer that just covers the bottom of the silicone mould. And then pop in my little bits here. Oh, by the way, I've got free downloads, and a newsletter comes out monthly from my website, so check that out in the description below. I then mix up another one, and I'm going to do the same technique with this as well with the mica powder. So pouring that in, making sure I'm not over covering that base, and then popping my bits in. And then what I'll do is I'll allow that resin to move away from the edges and leave some little gaps, which you'll see in a little while. And they look really cute once the resin is filled up and cured. These have all cured up now, and I'm really pleased with how they've come out so far. I'm just looking forward to demoulding them. This is the earrings, and they've come out really, really pretty. You can see the band in there. I just think they give that reflection of colour and a reflection of colour around the edge, but clear on the inside. Now, I'm going to dome these up as well, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Here's the heart. I love the heart. I think the hearts come out really well. I do think putting just a few little sparkly bits in there has worked really well. Now that heart there is where I'm going to place the key ring. So let's look at the other pendant. See how easy it is to get some great effects with your ribbons. And these are the ones where I put the backing in. All I did was, when I had these curing, I just popped a little bit of paper, not as thick as this lolly stick, under there, and that allowed it to give you a clear bit as well. It just makes it a little bit different. So from the back, obviously they look like that, but that is the back, and from the front they look like that. But when they're domed, it will transform them again, and I really like that one. Now I am going to dome these right now. All I'm going to be using to dome these with is some UV resin, because it's quicker, and it's ever so easy to dome with UV resin. All you need to do is allow it to flow evenly, because it's nice and thick UV resin. The surface tension stays really where you want it. Make sure you go round the actual hole as well, because that'll help and not fill in that hole. But if you do fill in the hole, it's not a major drama, because you can drill that out again. And I've had to do that many, many times. I have got a video on lots of great tips and tricks for using UV resin. I'll link at the end of this one, and then you can check it out. Even if you used UV resin before, or you're familiar with UV resin, I think it will be useful for you. But these are all finished now. I'm really pleased with them. The key ring, I think, has come out brilliantly. Now, whenever I make key rings, I always use my own jump rings for this, because I make them out of a steel, and they're really strong. They're much stronger than the aluminium ones. If you want to know how I make them, they're so easy to make. Honestly, you'll never buy them again afterwards. Then I have a video in my members only area, so you do have to be a member to see those videos. This one has come out lovely, and the dome really does work well on them all, I think, especially this one. A nice easy method of creating different necklaces. But you might be wondering what's happened to the earrings. I have to model the earrings. So these are the earrings. They've worked really well, and again, I've got my own homemade jump rings on those, and they're not going to go anywhere. I love them. I think they're cute. I'm not keeping them in, obviously. They're not my colour. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, then please boom that like button. It really does help my videos to get out there, and it makes me smile. If you'd like to get hold of anything that I've used today, then be sure to check out the description below, because I've linked everything in there for you to make it nice and easy. As well as the link if you'd like to buy me a coffee. I want to say thank you to everybody that buys me a coffee, and thank you to all my members as well. We have a great community there. Take care. Enjoy your resin. Bye.